Welcome, welcome, welcome to Secure the Bag Week 4 NFL Picks. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy. Welcome back, Slack family. What's good, y'all?
Yeah, what's good? Back in the building. Another crazy week in the NFL. Another topsy-turvy as far as upsets and expectations, and another rough one in the pick'em. But
For sure.
we're hanging in there so far on the money line side. But it's definitely been a little bit rough. But it's cool, man. This is the awesome thing about the NFL. It's a very year-to-year, week-to-week league. We try to think about historically what we feel about these teams, but every year is just a little bit different. And as injuries happen, as we kind of get to know these teams, we're seeing and figuring out where everybody's at. So kind of a rough week, but I do want to give a shout out to our boy Anthony Weston for winning last week. I think he had, I can't remember his score. I'm going to have to look it up, but he did well compared to the group. Yeah.
I want to say he had 12, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
okay. 12, I think.
Yeah, and 12 is, yeah. 12 and 4. That's pretty enormous for considering the results and the different lines we saw last week. So great job, Anthony Weston. A shout out to him. He will be getting a Super Bowl square on our big board. And if you're not playing along, please join in. You can hit the link in our bio, link in our description, and you can join our Yahoo Pick'em. It's free to play every week, and whoever wins each week gets a Super Bowl square for the big board. So that being said, we'll go ahead and pull up. We're going to make our money line picks for this week and then bring you 3 locks against the spread. We'll get things started. Let me just get our graphics really quickly. And here we go. Oh, wait, where's my little – there it is. Okay. All right, so looking back at last week, Strizzy led the group with 9 and 5, and then I went 8 and 6 8 and 8, sorry, and 9 and 7. So a little bit, halfway, but that's cool. But so Strizzy, you're going to lead us off for this week. With the picks, and we'll see what we can do. Starting with Thursday Night Football, we got America's team visiting the New York Giants.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, man. Like I've in the Dak era, man, he's pretty much owned the Giants. So I feel like they got lucky last week. So I am picking the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't know. Something about this Dallas Cowboys team this year is worrying me a little bit. There's a couple things there, but I still think Dallas has tonight.
Yeah, I'm going with Dallas. Of course, you see I'm rocking with my home squad, America's team. You're right. Dak has owned the Giants, and if the Cowboys are going to have any type of season that they wanted to have, they need it. This is week 4, but this is a must win. Their next 5 games or 6 games are crazy. They got the Steelers, Lions, 49ers, Falcons, Eagles, and Texans over their next 6 games. That's a gauntlet in itself. If you lose this game and go 1 and 3, that's a very tough road looking ahead those next 6 weeks, and the season can get away very quickly. So, they need this one just for the confidence and to get back into things. And that's not even mentioning the upstart Commanders who they're going to have to play twice in the second half of the year that are just seem to be getting better and better every week. So this is definitely a big one for the Cowboys. They got to go ahead and get it done. So I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. Moving into Sunday morning, we got our teams back-to-back. Next up, the Bengals at the Panthers. Is this an Andy Dalton revenge game, Strizzy? What you got for this one?
I hope so, man. I hope that what we saw last week was just a glimpse into the future, what we can hope to see. Even if Andy Dalton's on our quarterback of the future, it really made me believe in Dave Canales' is just offensive scheme and game planning in general, right? And I'll touch on this one a little bit longer than I do normal games, but I just felt like the executive decision that he made to bench Bryce was tough, right? Because you're going to get a lot of slack from it. That's a really big decision to make, and it worked out. So I'm hoping that we can make Bengals 0-4, especially being at home. But going into week 4 or week 5, 2-2 would be absolutely monstrous for the team's confidence, the fans' confidence and hopes. You know what I mean? Like if they can beat the Bengals and make them 0-4 to be 500, which we haven't been in a very long time. Yeah, it would really shake Panther Nation. I think that's something that we need. Like we have to win this game for the sake of like the organization in general, right? So I am going Panthers, but I think they get this done, man. I think Bengals are 0-4. They're struggling.
Yeah, the Bengals are definitely struggling. I'm going with the Bengals in this one, but I think it will be a very close game. I'm rooting for your Panthers. Yeah. And the thing is, really, the Bengals offense it started kind of clicking, right? But their defense can't stop anything. Yeah. So this is going to be a very high scoring game. I'm taking the over. But I do think that the Bengals are desperate, though. Like they're going to pull out all the stops to avoid going 0-4. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a really tough one, but it's a very, very close game. But I'm going with the Bengals to squeak it out. But I'm rooting for the Panthers, and I'm rooting for Anthony Dalton, even though I know Bryce Young isn't. Honestly, like, he's over there like, please don't do well.
For real.
Let it just like me. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is going to be a very intriguing, though, very good game to watch, considering like before the season, we look at this one and be like,
Yeah, for sure. This was definitely a chalked up loss at this point in the year when we talked about the schedules a couple of weeks back. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping that the offense can continue to roll. I know they were so hyped last week and getting the victory the way that they did. Right. Not just winning, right? Like, last time, like, what I mean? Like the way we won, everyone was happy. Receivers were happy. Like it was a really, really good dub, especially not on our home turf. So exactly, we got to keep that up, keep morale high for sure.
Absolutely, I love it. And we went a little bit long on each of our teams, but that's just kind of where our hearts are at. Exactly. We'll try to speed it up on these next ones, but we'll continue in. Next up, we got the Saints at the Falcons.
Yeah, this was tricky, but I'm going with the Falcons. I think the Saints started off super hot, but I think they're kind of coming down to down to form a little bit. And I think the Falcons definitely want to kind of build off of their offense and get Kirk Cousins just more acclimated with the receivers, and they've been doing well with that. Honestly, I won't say they should have won last week, but let's say KC had a little help with the refs on that one. So I'm going Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons as well at home. I think it's going to be a really close game. The Saints, if they don't hit those big plays, you see how their offense gets kind of bogged down. Yep. And the Falcons defense is actually really, really good. Yeah, so like you said, if they can build up on the Kirk Cousins side and get the offense rolling as well as the defense is playing, I think they got some aspirations this year. We'll see. Yep. But I am going with the Falcons as well. Next up, we got the Jaguars at the Texans.
Oh man, I'm still wondering when the Jaguars are going to get going. But with the loss last week, I don't see Texans losing 2 in a row, and it's at home. So I think coaching's going to get them right. I think Texas gets this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans as well. The Jags are another team that's in danger of slipping to 0-4. But I think it's time for some of those coaches over there to start making sure that their LinkedIn profile is straight. You know what I'm saying? There might be some changes coming on the Jaguars side, but I feel like the Texans do get right in this one with a familiar opponent. And the Jags, man, I don't know where they're headed, but they should have never named the stadium after Trevor Lawrence and that little gimmick. That's all bad. So we'll see how that plays out. Next up, we got the Broncos at the Jets.
Yeah, I think Jets continue to roll in this one. Monstrous game last week for the Broncos against the Buccaneers. I think that was huge for them. Definitely one of the upsets of the week, honestly. But Jets losing at home, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to get his legs up under him. I think Jets continue to win this game too.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jets as well. They're big favorites. I don't know if they cover the spread, but I'm definitely going with them because they got things rolling. I kind of like the little bad energy between Saleh and Rodgers. It's like a challenge. He's like, I got the offense now. You get the defense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do think that the Broncos, it's a little bit of a fluke last week. I think they caught the Bucs off guard, but I don't know if that's more about the Bucs than the Broncos. So we'll see. All right, next up, we got a good division matchup early. The Vikings at the Packers.
Yeah, this one should be definitely good, but I'm taking the Vikings, man. LaFleur has done really, really well. I don't know if Jordan Love has been announced to start this game or not just yet, but I don't know, man. I love the way the Vikings are looking. Run game, defense. Sam Darnold looks great. You know what I'm saying? And he's officially starting. I know he had some back issues, but he's good to go. And I don't know. I think Vikings get this one and go 4-0.
I agree. I'm going with the Vikings as well. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is that it's at Lambeau. They haven't traditionally had success there, but Jordan Love is looking like he is going to start. They're leaning towards it. Good. I personally though, I would think if I was Green Bay, I know this might sound crazy, I would hold him out because if he's not a fully 100%, that Vikings defense is nasty. They'll be after him. Willis might give them a better chance just in the run game and being multiple like that to actually make it like a slow ground and pound game. But if Jordan Love plays, I think it's actually in the short term maybe a little bit worse for them against this Brian Flores defense. So
take them Aaron Jones overs too.
Exactly. Yeah, he's gonna be he's very comfortable there, so he's gonna do his thing in his game. But I'm going Vikings as well. Next up, another good matchup: the Steelers at the Colts.
Yes, those are Colts. Yeah, this one's not very tricky. We definitely want to see the Colts offense kind of get going, but I feel like the Steelers right now overall are doing really well. They should get this W. Justin Fields is doing just enough. You know what I mean? Like he's not doing anything too flashy. He's not doing anything crazy. He's not turning the ball over. He's not throwing a bunch of touchdowns either, but he's just, like I said, doing enough to make sure that the Steelers win their games, especially with that defense. So I'm going Steelers.
I'm going with the Steelers as well. The only thing the Colts have is like if they can maybe hit some big dynamic plays and maybe keep them in this game.
Yeah.
But I see it as a low-scoring physical game with the Steelers coming out on top. Next up, we got the LA Rams at the Chicago Bears.
So it's tricky. The Bears' defense has been really good, so much so that it's keeping them in games where they're struggling to get the ball down the field and to move that offense. So I think this might be another kind of low-scoring game, unless Caleb can get the offense going. But I like LA in this one for some reason. Like they really surprised me last week with the comeback, and I think they get this dub too.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going with the Rams as well. I think they're going to have enough to figure it out. The Bears defense is really good, though. They're better than the 49ers defense. But as a team overall, I don't think they're as balanced. And I think that the Rams are going to have something for them. Even though it's a long road trip, I am going with the Rams on this one, but in a very close game.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have the Eagles at the Bucks.
Oh, man, if the Bucks didn't play so bad last week, I'd be like, kind of confused about this game. But I don't know, man. I feel like they played better this week. But I feel like the Eagles still come to Tampa and get a W. But I still think it'll be a close game. They'll play a lot better. But I think the Eagles' offensive line is just going to be a little too tough to stop the Eagles' run game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles, that was a good game for them last week, getting that confidence boost against the Saints and kind of shutting them down. We were worried about their defense, but their defense actually stepped up.
Yeah.
So I am going with the Eagles in this one as well. But I feel like both of these teams have showed a little bit of promise and a little bit of disappointment early on.
Sure.
It's going to be a very interesting one to see kind of how that outcome comes. So next up, the Patriots at the 49ers.
I got 49ers in this one. I liked what we saw from the Patriots in week one because we didn't know how they were going to look throughout the year. New coach after God only knows how long. Jacoby Brissett really struggled last Thursday night. But I don't know. I don't think the Patriots have enough yet, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I think even if it's close in the beginning, I think San Francisco pulls away in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 49ers aren't the juggernaut we've been used to over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have some injuries and they have some things to work through, but they're still good enough to get this done at home against the Patriots. And I think Drake May is coming soon. I don't know if it'll be this week,
right?
But I think he's going to be coming soon.
Yeah.
Next up, this is an interesting one. The Commanders at the Cardinals.
I like the Commanders in this one, man. I've always talked about I don't really like the Cardinals at home. They really surprised me when they, beat the snot out of the Rams, but that's also a division rival, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they were pretty much beat up in that game. But I love what Washington's doing. You know what I mean? Coaching-wise, the defense is still a little shaky. They can't stop anybody either, but the offense is rolling. And I think if they get into kind of a dogfight in this one, I think Washington comes out on top. I think they have more weapons than what the Cardinals have.
I agree. Take the over. I don't think either of these defenses are where they want to be. But I do like the Commanders in this one. On the road, like you said, it's not that big of a deal going into the State Farm Stadium. I hate to say that, but it's just not the same home field advantage as the Bird Nest used to bring. And a sneaky revenge game for Cliff Kingsbury.
For sure.
I think he's going to have something for that defense. I think he's going to want to put up a lot of points. And again, I don't want to overreact to what we saw on Monday night, but I think the Commanders are for real on offense, and so is Jaden Daniels. So
for sure.
Next up, Kansas City at the LA Chargers.
Man, I don't know. I don't really like what I've seen from the Chargers so far. I think they're 2-1, so they're not doing bad. It just I don't know. For some reason, I have no idea what the team is about yet. So I'm going to take KC. They've kind of been the big brother in this division so far. But honestly, I don't like what I'll see from KC either. They could easily be 0-3 right now.
I agree. So the Chargers, like you said, like they're 2-1, but they haven't really been showing much. I am going with the Chiefs in this one, but this is the dangerous thing the Chiefs always do, right? They're 3-0, but they play down to the level of their opponent. Right. It always seems to be like a last-minute drive. Kelsey's not doing really well. Pride is kept. Mahomes isn't really doing really well.
No,
they're actually running the ball better than normal, which is kind of keeping them in these games. But I'm still going with the Chiefs. Like you said, they're the big brother in this division. They'll find a way to get it done. But
close game has more interceptions than touchdowns right now.
That's crazy. That's
crazy. He had 5 interceptions and 4 touchdowns, which is crazy.
And you flash back to like flip it last year, right? They were playing better, but they were losing. Now they're winning, but they're playing worse. So it's like, where's that gonna even out? But I think they'll find a way to get it done.
For sure.
All right, next up, the Browns at the Raiders.
Yeah. both of these teams have been underwhelming this season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Both of these teams have been very underwhelming this season. Raiders have some internal issues right now. I think they really need to get rid of Devontae Adams, get some picks back for him or something. But they got to get Devontae Adams out of there. Right now, it seems like I don't want to say he's toxic to the locker room, but I think because he's so unhappy, it's making things worse. So because of that, I'm going with the Browns.
Got you. Man, I want to pick the Browns in this game, but I'm going with the Raiders only because they're at home. I think this is really a coin flip game.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, like, man, Deshaun Watson, like, if we've ever seen somebody fall off so hard, like, I don't know how he forgot how to play football.
Dude,
but
jumping off the mountain with no bungee, dog. Like,
exactly. Like, I don't know what happened, but the Browns, without Nick Chubb coming back yet, like, I think that they just don't have much of anything on offense. The defense is still solid, but they're being overwhelmed because they're on the field too much.
Too long. They have like the Panthers defense the last like 6 seasons. It's like
exactly
they're good for only so long, but bro, if they can't get no breaks, it's a wrap sooner or later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you might have changed my mind in this one. If you see my pick change in the pick 'em, you know what happened.
We'll see. But yeah, moving into Sunday Night Football, we've got this is Rock'em Sock'em. Bills at Ravens, probably the game of the week for me.
Yeah,
who you got in this one?
Yeah, me too, man. Game of the week for me, man. This one's gonna be really, really tricky. The line is super close, but bro, when I tell you right now, Josh Allen is the MVP, and I mentioned it last season at the end of it. When they lost Diggs, I was like, this might be an MVP for Josh, just for the fact that he doesn't have to worry about pleasing, Diggs anymore. And bro has been, they look unstoppable right now on offense. Can't nobody stop him. So it's hard for me to say, but I think the Bills win this game.
I'm going with the Bills as well. I think this is going to be a good one, but something about the Ravens, man, they can't finish games out.
Right.
And Todd Monken is like a good offensive coordinator, but only when it's like on script. Like his opening game drives, his opening sets are like great, but he can't really adjust. He keeps trying to do the same things. And so even though like last week they had the big lead against the Cowboys, things were working right, but then they couldn't really like figure out how to finish out that game. They almost messed around and lost that game.
Bro, that's my bad. Go ahead, my fault.
No. I was just gonna say, yeah, like that's the same thing happened with the Raiders. Like they had a lead and they kind of like blew it at the end because they got figured out and didn't make any adjustments. So I think it's gonna be tough, especially if the Bills jump out early. I think the Bills defense is holding on enough, and the Bills offense is making it easier for them. So I think they get it done.
Yeah, man. I love what Lamar said. Saying like they have the Ravens. They get out ahead of their opponents a lot. Like it happens a lot, but they hit this like I don't even want to say autopilot. They hit this thing where they just start letting teams get back into games. Like the way they were, killing the cow. That game should have been close. You know what I mean? Like, and I love what Lamar said. Like, I don't like how we take our foot off the gas because that's how teams get back into games. Like they're up by 20, 17 points so often. And then it comes back, they either lose in like the fourth quarter or they win by a field goal or less. You know what I mean? When they were up by, three scores. And it happens so often. And I think Lamar's right. Like they got to stop being so conservative. And when they're winning, they just need to continue scoring. Like their opponent's feelings is none of their concern. You know what I'm saying? Like blow them out, dog. If the game plan work, blow them out. You know what I'm saying? Like stop.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. There's something there. And I honestly, though, too, watching that game, I was seeing a little bit of the Baltimore Ravens aren't as physical as they used to be.
No.
Like, and I was expecting them to be even more physical with Derrick Henry and being like a hammer. Yeah. But teams that kind of bring the fight to them, even like the Cowboys did in the second half, all of a sudden they kind of lock up a little bit. It's interesting. And the Bills, if anything, they're very physical. So I think this is going to be a tough one. Yeah. Do want to shout out to Stephanie Washington in the comments. Thank you for checking in on us. She sees me repping the squad. Absolutely. Got them Cowboys earrings on. That's what's up. We know it's America's team, and we know we got to get it done tonight. So I'm glad you're out there repping. We need all the mojo we can, you know what I'm saying, pulling in the right direction for this one, for sure. But thank you for being here. All right, 2 Monday night games again, another doubleheader. This one, we got the Titans at the Dolphins.
This one's tricky, but I'm going Titans for some reason. Like, Tua's out. The backup went out this past Sunday as well. So now the third string quarterback, I'll be off. I don't even know who it is. Oh, no.
It's not Skylar Thompson. It's another.
He just got hurt. He got hurt. He missed the last of that game. So I don't know if it was like something minor and he's back for the game, but I don't know, man. I think Titans. I'll go with the Titans. That's all I got.
Yeah, so Tim Boyle is their third string quarterback, but we don't know. I think it's still Skylar Thompson might play. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm going with the Titans as well. I think it's hard to say it like this looking back. It might be a little bit of revisionist history, but even with Tua for that 6 quarters, the Dolphins kind of struggled. If it wasn't for the Jaguars fumbling, like going into the end zone, that Trevor Etienne fumble, about a whole different scenario. The Dolphins might like low-key be one of the worst teams in the league, especially without Tua. And I hate that because I like Mike McDaniel and I like what he brings.
But
you look at this team, like they just don't got it. And as long as the Titans don't shoot themselves in the foot, they should be fine to get through this game. So
I got some more stuff too. I feel like if the Panthers win this game and Andy Dalton continues to look really good and the Dolphins lose this game to really kind of a bad Titans team, then it kind of goes to the point where I think that they start offering a little bit more for somebody like a Bryce Young. You know what I mean? Like I know the Panthers I think they declined 4 different teams looking at Bryce Young trades, and I'm positive the Dolphins are one of them. But if they start getting a little bit more desperate, you know what I mean, and start getting in that 2nd round pick for Bryce, maybe a first. I mean, if they lose at home to the Titans, they might try to offer a little extra to get another quarterback. And if a first comes for Bryce, they got to take it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Personally, I'm surprised he's not in Miami already. I mean, it's because no matter what happens the rest of the year with Andy Dalton, like Bryce Young, it's going to be hard to flip back to him. It's going to be hard to pretend like you're still developing him when you had to basically give up on him. So I think a fresh start would be good for him. And like you said, the Panthers, if they can get some of that draft capital they gave up for him back, you got to do it. So
absolutely.
Oh, man, that'll be a rough one, but this will be a fun, kind of interesting game to watch because it's 2 teams that are struggling trying to get right. But I'm definitely both of us on the Titans on that one. The second Monday Night Football game, which I think will steal all the ratings from that first one, is the Seahawks at the Lions.
Yeah, this one should be really, really fun. You know what I'm saying? The Seahawks defense has actually been really, really good, man. It's been tops of the league. And obviously the Lions offense is going to be rearing to go. So we could have something where the defense just ain't got it. We got 2 high-scoring games, but I'm going with the Lions in this one just because they're at home. But I really like the Seahawks are doing definitely defensively. So we'll see.
I know. So, man, I want to pick the Seahawks in the upset in this one. I think I'm going to actually. I think I am going to pick the Seahawks only because the last time the Lions really got locked up and got shut down, it was against the Ravens, and that's the new head coach of the Seahawks. I think he's got a game plan for them, I feel like the Lions have kind of been figured out. Sometimes the league is slow to react, but now this is like year 3 with Dan Campbell, year 3 with Ben Johnson offense, and it's not really clicking anymore. And the whole going for it and the whole fake punts and stuff, it's not really working anymore. So I think that the Lions are kind of coming back down to earth. I got to go with Seattle. If this was in Seattle, I would feel confident. I would press that button so fast. But I think I'm going to take a risk and go with them on the road on the upset. So
I feel it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one though for sure. All right. Oh, Stephanie's going with Seattle too.
Nice.
So that's what's up. All right, cool. I got somebody on my side on there. That's what's up. That feels good. All right, so that's our money line picks. We're gonna bring up our locks real quick. And again, the money line is just picking who will win the game. With the spread against the spread, you got to consider that adjusted score for the favorite team. Strizzy, you got the Bills on lock last week, but now let's talk through your 3 locks for this week.
Yeah, man. So we're going with Dallas tonight. Like I said, they've in the Dak era, they've owned New York. I do have my worries about this Dallas Cowboys team, man. Like I talked a little bit about Pops. Talked about it a little bit with Pops over the last couple of weeks, and I know he's got some of his concerns well, and a lot of that has to do with it's on both sides. Like I just feel like they have one major player on defense, one major player on offense, and if the teams double team either one of them, whether it's on the offense side or different side of the ball, they struggle. That worries me, but I still think they have enough to take care of the Giants. Giants trash. They got lucky last week.
Yeah.
This one too, same thing. I think the Panthers have a chance at winning outright, but
wait, did I switch that? It's supposed to be the Panthers, right?
Yeah, but I got you. No worries, though. But I do have the Panthers at +4.5. I feel like at home, I think with the offense and I think with Dave Canales, with just overall, I think his scheming, I think the offense the team in general is gonna be a lot more formidable now. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of times a lot of these spreads are going to be kind of like high just because of the fact that we've sucked the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like going forward, I think we might just be in a better spot with a better quarterback and just better coaching. So I'm hoping that I hope that proves right this week. Like, again, kind of like last week, even if they don't win, if they can make it close, put some points on the board, it's still right direction for me. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Okay.
Last but not least, we got Washington Commanders. I really love what I've seen from Jaden Daniels so far, man. Like that, he's my pick right now for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I hope he stays on track to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I've just really enjoyed watching him play. He's been so incredibly good. I mean, he's passing at 80% as well. You know what I mean? Like that's a big deal. 80% is crazy for quarterbacks, even through just 3 weeks. But I think high scoring game, like you said, over, definitely taking the over. And I really like them. I like how they've been. And you know what I'm saying? They've covered for you last 2 weeks until they cover one more time.
Exactly. Especially getting 3 points like that. You know, that's a good take. I like that. I like all three of those. Let me jump into mine real quick. And last week I was lucky enough to get the triple again. So my locks have been coming through, man. My money line picks have not been off. But one thing I've kind of noticed, especially early on in this season, is the underdogs have a lot of value. All three of my picks last week were underdogs, and all three of them won outright. So let's see if we can get some winners again. The Vikings, Green Bay, I talked about that. Even if Jordan Love comes back, if he's hampered at all, that Vikings defense is nasty. So I think that they can cover or at least keep it close going into Green Bay. The Rams at Chicago, we talked about Chicago's defense is better, but the Rams, I think they're going to have a little scheme for them. I think they got something for them. And the Rams defense stepped up a little bit better against the 49ers last week, enough to get it done. So I think they keep that game close or win. And then the Titans, Dolphins. I think low key Dolphins are probably one of the worst teams in the league. They're like bottom 5, especially without their first or second quarterback. So I think the Titans get a much needed win, and I'm taking that point on the road. So we're going with the underdog special again and see if we can't make it happen. But so far through this season on the money line side, 27-21, 28-20, so very solid there. Especially with kind of some topsy-turvy couple weeks. So we'll look to boost that back up. And then on the lock side, 4-9, but my 8-9, I've been killing it. I'm out the gates early, man. I got to keep my endurance up. I'm hoping to keep this thing rolling. So, but like we always say, this is not betting advice. This is just our opinions, and we're sharing our picks, and we like to keep it real transparent and real solid around here. That's just what we do. We put it out there. So, so again, appreciate everybody rocking with us. I'm gonna go ahead and bring these graphics down. And any specials or anything you're looking at for tonight? Do you have any like little parlays or any player props for tonight's game?
Yeah, I got a couple going on right now. I think CeeDee Lamb has a big game, but doesn't get into the end zone, so I'm taking his over on his yards. I like Ferguson too. That he hasn't been. I feel like he hasn't gotten the ball too much, so that's why I feel like they're gonna eventually start, getting to some of these other guys on the team for Dallas. So I like him. I also like just because of the rush defense for the Cowboys hasn't been very great, so I like Devin Singletary tonight as well. I think I'm going to do his combined rushing plus receiving. I think it's at like 80 yards or something like that, 80 and a half yards. So I'm feeling that as well. But I'm hoping for a good game. Like I said, we've seen a lot of Cowboy blowouts when it's come to them and the Giants. You know what I'm saying? Like I think last year was it 44-0 or something like that. You know
yeah. Last year they trounced them.
Yeah, and both those guys, I think they beat them up pretty badly. So hoping for a little bit of when the games get too one-sided, a lot of times it makes it difficult for your single game parlays to hit. So I'm hoping for a closer game so we can some of these guys don't sit early. But I don't know, man. I try to feel the Dallas Cowboys are gonna put it on them tonight.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I hope so. It's a quick turnaround for them, but they need to get off, man. They need to get this like stink of the last couple of weeks off of them, and then they get a little extra time going into the next week because, like we said, their schedule coming up is brutal. Yeah. But I like that. I do think, like Stephanie said, CD needs to redeem himself from last weekend. He kind of stepped up and said he let himself down and the team down. Just got so emotional, which is the same thing we saw in the playoff game. It's like, don't worry about it, man. Like, you're not always going to get the ball, and you're still helping the offense even when you take the double teams and you take the attention away. Right. And then when you do get the ball, hold on to it, damn it. Get into the end zone. You know what I'm saying? You fumbled. You had a couple drops. So who are you mad at? I think he definitely does need to redeem himself. So I like what you're saying on his props. And then the Devin Singletary, I have him for an anytime touchdown as well. I think he's just bound to happen. So, so that's a little extra flavor for y'all for the Thursday night game. But again, appreciate y'all rocking out with us. We will be back next Tuesday for episode 266 of The Big Show, where we'll break down all the NFL scores and we'll get into the other sports as well. But until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy.
Peace.